What's up, folks? Dr. Rowe here. Hope you're well on Tuesday. I apologize, I missed my live yesterday. I did one at the weekend, which I don't normally do, but I was kind of passionate. You might have picked that one up about decision making, and hopefully you did pick that up. And if you didn't, then go watch that. Today I wanted to pick up, and I might do a couple today if I can, just to make up for the fact I didn't do one yesterday. But today I want to tackle the subject of, if you're a business owner, if you're a startup, which there's going to be so many startups off the back of COVID, seriously. And also if you are a property investor, then one of the areas that most people at that point in their business, I mean, property investors continue, business owners potentially continuously, depending on rev gen, etc., and profits, but startups definitely is raising money to get the business going. And it's a big subject. And actually, if I'm really honest, it comes down to one simple thing: communication. That's all it comes down to. Hi Taka, good to see you on again. Always loyal when you jump on. It's good to see you. Raising money and communication are umbilically linked. What do I mean by that? Even if you just need to raise a few £1,000s for something and it's a startup point in your business, for a lot of people, the main block is not the external communication but the internal communication. So think of it as having two elements to how you ask somebody for money. Good to see you, thanks for the thumbs up. So the key thing here is, if you're thinking about talking to another person to raise money, doesn't matter how much it is. I mean, it could be £1, and here's the thing, right? Asking somebody for £1, you may feel comfortable with that. So asking somebody for £10, you may feel comfortable with that. Asking somebody for £50, start to notice how the shift in your gut feels. So this internal communication is way more important at this stage than any external communication you have. Now look, yes, I've got the communication with Impact System, and that, without a shadow of a doubt, 110%, if you follow that system, it will enable you to raise money. Not necessarily with your first angel or your second angel, but it's a system. And with a system, it's like anything. You just keep reapplying it, keep reapplying it. What will happen is you'll refine the system, and you'll get to a point where, using that system, money will start to come flowing to you. Now, some people have used it and they've literally done it instantly. Others have gone through it, they've had some feedback, and we've kind of tweaked it. So the CWI system 100% will work, and we are working on that at the moment. Just to let you know, most of you that have been following me will know that I had my main events that we'd ran last year. Haven't done anything this year because of COVID. We have the online program coming out very shortly, and I have a free webinar that's going to come out as well, which will give you some great tools. Now, with all of that, it's a general approach in any situation, but you can tweak it, say, for example, raising money. There will later on, it'll probably be in the next couple of months, be a very bespoke program that comes out purely for raising money for angels. However, none of that is of any use to you if you have a block inside. And so I tackle that to some extent in part of the system, but at this stage, while you're watching me, I want to tackle it straight away with you. So picture the scene. You need to go and borrow £1 from somebody. Probably not an issue. £10, maybe not a problem. £50, £100, £1,000, £50,000. Oh my God. So what is your pressure point? What's the point where your body starts to feel differently with the idea of asking another person for money? And that's the voice you need to listen to. If this is making sense, by the way, give me a thumbs up. Hey, it's good to see Jonathan online. So those of you watching, great investor, great mentor, just come online, Jonathan. And this is a big challenge. So I use this as the first point of contact with your negative belief system. So a lot of people go, yeah, I can raise money. I go, okay, so, all right, pick up the phone and call your mum and see if you can borrow £5. Yeah, no problem. Pick up your phone and call your mum and ask you for £1,000. And there will be some point where it feels uncomfortable. And the minute you can define what that point is, what you need to do at this stage, and that's all I want to do on this video, is I'd like you to make a note, and we'll do a couple of videos on this week. I'd like you to make a note of what the conversation is you're having with yourself. So what are the beliefs that are kicking up? You might say to me, yeah, I feel uncomfortable with that. So my question is, why do you feel uncomfortable? ... And you got to answer that. I'm not sure if my mum's got money. I've never really borrowed money off my mum before. And I'm talking about your mum, but it could be anyone. If you're going out to a friend or an angel, because it's the same thing. If that tweak kicks in at £250 for the sake of argument, it's the same tweak that's going to kick in with an angel investor. So if we don't nail this core element of the foundation, it ain't going to work over there when you're ask them for $500,000 or whatever you need to borrow. So it'll be to do with primarily, number one, your self-worth, number two, your belief system about money, and number three, your belief system about them. And I actually cover this in the online CWI program as well, but I want to tackle this particular element with you now. So what am I referring to? If you find yourself struggling at a certain point with any raising of money, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just ask yourself the simple question. If I was going to go and borrow for some money from my brother, at what point would it feel uncomfortable? If I was going to go, I know John over there, this is my good friend John online today, right, he's watching. I know John, he's got like 20k in the bank, hasn't he? Yeah, okay, great. So, yeah, I could borrow 50 quid off him. Okay, go borrow 50 quid. Could you borrow 1,000? Yeah, I think so. Okay, why are you hesitating now? That's the point I want to find out. That's where the block kicks in. What is that block? And that block typically will be to do with your primary beliefs about borrowing money from other people. Is it about the security? Is it about how you're going to be perceived? Is it about how they're going to communicate with you and what they might ask you? Is it about your lack of confidence? Is it about your feeling that you are going to be humiliated by somebody to asking for money? When I built my property portfolio to start with, it was actually pretty tough. I had to go to my mum, I went to my brother, I was explaining this to the audience at the weekend. And you know, when you're asking your younger brother and you're asking your mum, and I was the oldest in the family, there's that little bit of feeling of, oh shit, you know, what are they going to think about me? But the desire was greater than that feeling of a block. And that's what you've got to do. And we haven't got to that point yet. So I think at this moment in time, a great exercise to do, and if you're a coach or a mentor and you're working with people, if you're finding people are reaching a block, that's a great question to ask them. Just downsize it. Because often we go, yeah, let's go raise the money. But it's so freaking big, we can't get a head around it. So what I normally do with people is I bring them down, I dial it down and find out where you start to feel the heat coming in the tummy and you go, oh, okay, there it is. Right, that's the start. That's where the rot starts. We've got to tackle that first. Everything else follows after that. Now, there's a great opportunity right now in the marketplace, I think, for anyone that's looking to raise money with their angels, because interest rates are ridiculously low. They're going to stay low for a long time. That's my personal belief. Not that I can give you financial advice on this, but that's my personal belief about where the markets are. Go and have a look at the fixed rate mortgages. They're like throwing them out 5 years at a really low rate. So the banks don't even expect it to go up. So we know that people have got money in savings. By the way, the average statistic at the moment, average person in this country has £6,250 sitting in a bank account. That's an average across the country. And the average interest rate they're making in a current account is 0.26%. I looked this up on Friday before I started my weekend with my audience. That is ridiculous. So what we know is that people are pissed off and they want it working for them, but you've got to find a way to get to that. So we can build up a little bit off that over the week, but that's the first point at this moment in time. I've got to get back. Hopefully that was useful. Ask yourself a question. When it tweaks in, what is the conversation you're having with yourself that makes you feel uncomfortable? And then we can address maybe how to deal with that. Right, I'm going to sign off. Cheers, bye.